BYU's taking on the Wyoming Cowboys this week in Laramie. Mitch, Harper, Matt Baiamonte with you. And Cougars are 2-0, Wyoming 0-2. Wyoming's down and out, and BYU is clearly the better football team. I don't have any questions about that. I think it's just a matter of, will BYU just take care of business in what's expected to be a hostile environment?
Yeah, the two things the offense, I think, needs to clean up is obviously the turnovers, and that was discussed by Aaron Roderick today, that 2 of those 3 turnovers you can't make. You got to, in his words, you got to eat those plays, live for another day. The third play, which we discussed a lot throughout the breakdown of the SMU win, was just a great defensive play. I think the other tidbit that'll be interesting for this offense is how do they get the running game going now that Falau Rapati and L.J. Martin are officially out. So your 4 running backs traveling will be Miles Davis, Enoch Nawahine, Sione Aimoa, and Pokai Haunga. And let's see how that run game works, because that needs to get going a little bit more, Mitch.
It definitely does, because that group has been, I think, okay through the first 2 weeks, but it needs to improve. And I think you saw a little bit of that offense stalling after L.J. Martin went out in that first quarter against SMU. That's got to get right. I talked with Waylon Lapuaho today. He even noted that the offensive line's been good, but they're not clearly happy and content with where they're at. They want to be producing at a higher level on the offensive line and kind of be dominant along that offensive front. Defensively, BYU comes in this matchup riding high. And, Tyler Batty is playing great football. Jack Kelly's been outstanding. Harrison Taggart, Jacob Robinson. You point across the board on the defense, they're looking great. What are you expecting defensively for BYU against Wyoming?
A lot of turnovers. I love the defensive pressure, but I think in that SMU game in particular, the turnovers were a huge difference maker. Got to continue that. This Wyoming team, they're prone to make a lot of mistakes. If you can get a couple takeaways, some short fields, that'll help the offense as well. To Tyler Batty and Jack Kelly, 2 guys we'll have on Cougar Sports Saturday, this Saturday, noon to 3, breaking down this Wyoming game. Those 2 have been outstanding. They're playing all conference level football right now, and if they continue to stay healthy and keep doing that, then I like where this defense is. The health, though, with Tyler Batty, kind of interesting with the ear.
Yes, his ear. I caught up with him, and he admitted that it was kind of dangling a little bit, that left ear, and that's why there was so much bleeding. And then a couple plays later, he's taking out Jennings from SMU. So Batty, pretty tough. This whole defense is tough for BYU. Wyoming's offense is struggling. They're like BYU without their top running back. Whaley is continued to be out, and Savoda, the quarterback, former Snow College transfer, he struggled. And, he took on the number 17 to be the next Josh Allen. It hasn't looked anything like that so far for Wyoming. So, the Pokes are going to have, the emotions are going to be high, because this is the ultimate get-right game for them. If they can right all of their wrongs by beating BYU. They haven't done it since 2003. BYU, I thought it was interesting today, though. We talked with Jake Retzloff, you and I did. He noted that the stories of Wyoming have been relayed to the team. And I think that's a critical piece, because you want to let these current college guys know about the magnitude of games. You don't want to go in blindside. I thought a couple of years ago when they went to Liberty, they didn't understand the significance, what that game meant to Liberty. You need to know what it means. I know that Wyoming's not a great opponent, but BYU players need to know that this game means a ton for Wyoming, and they're going to be playing at a high level to try to fix their season.
Yeah, it's been brought up in multiple meetings. Jake in our conversation referenced that hey, it doesn't matter what's been on tape, because I'm sure the tape looks like crap because Wyoming has been that bad. Yeah. You got to expect high energy, high focus, just an elevated type of play, not only because you can write the season, but they've been told all offseason too from their fans and their coaches, this is the game. So it is nice to hear from Jake and others that, hey, we understand what we're going up against here. We're not going to overlook these guys, because this is a high emotion rivalry.
Cool moment before practice today, or before the end of practice today. True Blue hero, a young man by the name of Max. He was honored. A huge gathering of people and family, and the team was celebrating him. They do that weekly, but it felt like there was a little bigger magnitude, it felt like, with that. So it was pretty cool to see that at practice today. BYU, Wyoming, 7 o'clock kick on Saturday, pregame at 5 here on KSL. We'll, of course, get things started at noon on KSL News Radio. So follow all the coverage on KSLSports.com.